Hey there! I'm Nene, I'm a fiber artist, and today I'm gonna bring you along with me as I try 3 different ways to use fabric scraps that do not require sewing of any kind. Woohoo! For this project we are gonna use some double-sided tape, and I actually sewed this in a reel on Instagram, so here's to hoping it works. I've been making and using different fiber journals for almost 2 years now, and this is the one for this year. And I just love the effect that fabric can have on paper to create texture and layer, and when you are making a journal page about a sewing project, you can just add the fabric you used for the project and add that textural feeling. So I did that for this spread about my sewing machine cover. I think some people call it dust cover. And this spread that I still have to finish, I'm waiting for the final pictures of the shorts, but I made a pair of shorts with the fabric on this page and I attached a strip of it. And so for these pages I just had the pieces of fabric and I actually just glued them on. So I either added the glue on the fabric or on the paper and pasted it, as simple as it sounds. For the thing we are gonna go to do today together, we are gonna add some fabric to the double-sided tape. It's like we're gonna make our own fabric washi that we can use whenever to decorate our journal pages and whatnot, our letters, our birthday cards, well wishes card, whatever, you name it, you can just decorate everything. Let's try. My tape is 2 centimeters wide. There can be wider or smaller ones. I chose this measurement because it reminded me the most of the actual size of a washi tape or a tape. So the first thing I want to do is cut some fabric into strips. Now, of course, I'm not gonna waste the rest of the fabric and just use the 2 centimeters I'm cutting, but the 2 centimeters I'm cutting are gonna become tape in perfect proportion with the tape. While all the rest of the scraps, I still will put some tape on that. They will just need to be trimmed. Even cut off from previous patchwork or quilting projects are perfect for this craft, since you will just have a tape that's different fabrics. If the fabric is one-sided, obviously put the tape on the side that does not have the print. You wouldn't tell I have a color palette. I think these are lovely when you travel, so you have that little something special to add in your journals, but I also think they would be so cute as little gifts to bring to your friends when you or they host a craft night or a journal session. So you can exchange fabric without all the fuss of actually exchanging fabric, but as a little token. And well, maybe if you know their favorite color, or if you have made a project sewing together, or you made a project for them, then you can give them also a little piece of fabric to decorate their journal with. As for the bigger pieces of fabric, or the ones that are odd shaped, I tend to either put some tape in the center and just let the edges do their fraying, because I think it's natural, or I can cut them out into smaller portions or even shapes that I like. For example, in this pom-pom-purin fabric, I can also cut out one of the pom-pom-purins and make like it's a little sticker. I decided to dedicate a page in my fiber journal to this craft, and also to the ones I'm gonna do later, but for now I'm just gonna use the washi fabric tape I just made and make a page about this. Super excited to try this project today with you. So this is my fabric stash of like fat quarters and patchwork dimension pieces of fabrics. I have other fabrics, but they are in bigger patches and I have them in another box. Today with you I want to make another project, and this one is going to be a fabric collage. What I'm looking for right now specifically is I'm looking through my fabric to see if all the different colors and texture pops out an idea. And then I'm gonna roll with that. So what I'm seeing is I still have this from my previous crafts, and I'm seeing green and pink and yellow. And what I'm thinking is, what if this was a collage of like a garden scene with yellow flowers? I'm thinking dandelions, because I love dandelions, and there was a little worm. That could be super, super cute. So nice. I'm gonna look for a background, which I think I would like either, okay, if it was small, this could be a sky, and I think I can cover up this part with some green grass, yeah. Or something super funky, like maybe the pink will clash with the fact that I'm thinking of making the warm pink. Let's just see what I have. So the first thing I decided to do was to sort out which fabric spoke to me in my design idea. So I was looking for greens for the grass and light blue for the sky and yellow or similar color for the flowers, as well as a nice piece of pink for the worm. I decided to sketch out the idea with some pastels colors, just to give me a rough idea or where will I put each element. Then, with the design in mind, I started cutting the fabric if needed to have a kind of rectangular shape since I want to use this as a print on my wall. I started assembling each element, and I think this was the most fun part because I could still move each layer and piece of fabric and see how it was in contrast with the background or the other pieces of fabrics. And after everything was in place, I glued it with just a simple stick of glue. To add some texture and some final details, I took my acrylic markers and decided to just make it more pizzazz with some smiley faces and some lines and some details in all the drawing. Guys, this is so cute. I'm honestly obsessed. I would need to press it just because it has a huge fold over here, and so just pressing it down will help the image come out clearer. But this was such a fun, quick and easy way to use fabric scraps. And of course I could put this in a frame and hang it around as art, or I can paste it in my journal, so all the crafts we've made together could be for your journal. But yeah, I honestly think this was, as far as supplies go, this just used some glue stick and some scissors to create a colorful image, and with some acrylic markers it also added that little details that I just love to see in any kind of collage. And yeah, well, this was my first time trying this, but I honestly think I could go for either more complex designs, and I just absolutely love the way the fabric is real fabric, and so it has fraying edges or it rolls down, and it's super textural and 3D, and I think this would be great also to do with friends, like put all your fabric scraps together and work out something. It's just about perfect for whatever journal, but if you have one that's just plain or ugly or scratched or ruined for whatever reason, you can just put some gorgeous fabric over it and have a new, lovely, gorgeous journal. Let me show you some examples. So this one has been made by a friend of mine, and they painted the cover too. So like the fabric piece is green, I think, and they painted the yellow on it, or vice versa. But anyway, they covered an agenda, so it's a journal with dates inside, quite old now, but I just use it as paper and blank pages. And this is the inside for reference. And of course, this is a very well-made work. And this is my version of it. So again, I have this lovely fabric and I have this journal with pink recycled paper inside, but the cover was pretty boring and blank, so I just put the fabric on it and glue the first page so inside it has a neat finish. And yeah, it looks pretty nice, I think. The corners are where I have the most trouble making it look like a neat job. But since these are journal for me, or well, I mean, even if it was for a gift, this is lovely work. So let me show you how I did it. So I have like a basket where I keep all my fabrics, my colored fabrics. So these are all almost all cottons in a variety of shapes and textures. And some of them I bought for specific projects and I'm just waiting to use them, while some of those were gifted to me. And some I bought without a specific project, but just because I liked the pattern or the texture. So yeah, almost all of this is good as long as it's big enough for your journal. So it depends on the different of the journal you want to cover. Mine is pretty big because it's an A4 size of paper. So I am using a fat quarter. that just means it's a square, and it's a pretty big one. I got it because I loved the fabric colors and texture, like the composition. It seems like it's true watercolor applied on fabric, but I didn't have any specific project to do with it, and this is just perfect for what we're gonna make. So first of all, I open my fabric, and as I said, I checked that the dimension of the journal I want to cover is big enough for the fabric, and this is, I have I have much more than I need, so I'm actually gonna save some of this. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it wrong face up and align my journal, trying to open it as flat as possible. So to do so, I actually put the pages up. And if you need to, you can sign the dimension of your journal on the fabric. Otherwise, you can just cut the fabric, leaving I don't know how much this is in inches, but it's 2 centimeters of edge. I'm taking 1 second to just make sure that it doesn't see through the fabric, because some fabrics are too thin and you can kind of see through. In this case, in the color sections, there's no issue at all, while in the white, if you know what you're looking for, you can kind of see the index written over here. But if you don't, and from afar, you actually can't see anything, so I think that's a win. Also, I don't mind, because this is a striped pattern, so I actually like it all, but this is a good moment to just decide which one of these is going to be your cover part and which one is going to be your back piece. So if you have one that you prefer, choose it now. Then what I want to do is to cut the corners, so when I fold the fabric over, they don't become too much of a fabric and a struggle to hide. So if I cut them diagonally, like so, when I fold the fabric, there won't be anything here, and it will just be neater. So to do so, you could actually fold it and mark the place where it's folded, yada yada yada. But if you are going for a quick and easy project, you can just cut one diagonal corner like so, and you can adjust it later on when you are folding if you need to cut a little bit more. But you can be almost sure of your cut as long as you align it with the corner of the journal, so like so, and it's gonna be a pretty clean cut when it's finished. Then to paste the fabric down, I'm gonna use some glue. This is some super glue. I think hot glue won't work. Other kind of glue could take longer to hold it in place, but they could be okay if you have any kind of clasps to just hold it. This one, since it sets pretty firmly, pretty quickly, I think is the easier to work with. So once you fix the first side, the second side you're just gonna try to pull it so the back piece of fabric is gonna be pretty firm. And then before doing the top and bottom part, you just need to cut where the folded side of your journal is. Like so. Then you can paste down the bottom. Now, to finish these little pieces, I'm just going to cut the length because I don't need them as long, and glue this little part on the inside so it does look finished, even though it's just hiding the last piece of the real cover. Now, to get the clean finish I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna glue this front page onto the fabric so it's gonna cover it as well as keep it down. You can also do this with another piece of paper, but just be mindful it's gonna show here on the inner piece, but you're gonna keep your first page if you do it with another piece of paper. But if you choose to do it with the first piece of paper of your journal and the last, it's gonna get the most clean finish, since you aren't gonna be able to see where the trick is. And to do so, I'm just gonna use some normal elementary school glue stick, because super glue, it's gonna keep the page wet, and by wetting it a little bit, it's gonna get a little bit crumpled. But with some stick, I just noticed it doesn't happen, and well, it holds it down pretty well, since it doesn't need to wear any kind of, well, maintenance or whatever. And when I'm done with it, I just let it dry under some weight. So I'm gonna put books in here and we'll see how it comes up just right after. Here's the final result. I absolutely love it, and of course I'm gonna use it now because it has a nice cover. Ha! Ooh. I really hope you loved coming with me and trying out this lovely, quirky and unique way to use your fabric scraps. And if you try them, I would love to see it, so please tag me on Instagram or send me an email, I don't know, just I would really love if this was an inspiration for you. I lost some washi. And yeah, if you love fiber arts and are looking for other fiber related videos, I have lots more on my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!